everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajua. In this video, I'm here to speak about several fragrances which were marketed as dupes or inspired by versions of original niche and designer fragrances, but to me, I think they failed to hit the nail as inspired or dupes of these original niche and designer fragrances. I think some of them are that good that they could have been bottled as original creations from some of these houses, whilst others you can see the inspiration, but they really failed to nail it. It doesn't mean they were bad. Some of them were quite bad, but for the most part, some of these were good. But I will not consider them like dupes per se of these popular niche and designer fragrances. So I'm going to start with the first one here, and that is going to be Soleil de Ombre Jacques Juice by Fragrance World, which per the bottle and the note structure was given Ombre NAD by Louis Vuitton. However, upon further, testing of the OG Louis Vuitton, Ombre NAD, it's a different, scent profile from the one from Fragrance World, the Soleil de Ombre Jacques Juice, even the name and everything is quite similar. Ombre NAD is a different, unique scent, and so is Jacques Juice, Soleil de Ombre Jacques Juice from Fragrance World. I sort of like them both, for what they are, but Ombre NAD is totally different. Soleil de Ombre Jacques Juice is predominantly a woody scent with that raspberry. It is more of a dry, bitter woods, with like very little sweetness. And I see the same as, the OG Ombre NAD. However, they are very different from each other. And I think Fragrance World could have, rebottled it and sold it as an original creation, because till this day, I haven't come across any fragrance that smells like Soleil de Ombre Jacques Juice from Fragrance World. It is not Ombre NAD from Louis Vuitton. You can see the inspiration on its own. It's a very beautiful woody, fruity scent with the raspberry and then the other woods, but Ombre NAD has that, richness, that, that dark polished vibe that I think is missing from the supposedly dupe Soleil de Ombre Jacques Juice. So I think Soleil missed the mark of calling it their own creation. They could have just bottled it and sold it as their own creation, and it have made a lot of sense. The next one I have here is a fragrance that I love. I absolutely love this. It was marketed as an inspired by or a dupe for another Louis Vuitton, afternoon swing, but to me, I think Not Tag Expression is not, it doesn't really give me afternoon swing vibes at all. I really enjoy afternoon swing, but I think this one, Not Tag Expression, is superior to my nose. I always say this is much better to my nose, than the OG afternoon swing, which this was marketed as inspired by. I think Paris Corner should have labeled this their own creation, because they actually captured the whole essence of a realistic fizzy Fanta scent. It's basically the scent of Fanta, with some perfume vibes in it. Whereas, the original one, Afternoon Swim by Louis Vuitton, is more of the grapefruit, and other fruits, but this one is basically an orange, scent that reminds me of the drink Fanta. This is a very beautiful one, and I always say this, I much prefer this over the Afternoon Swim, although Afternoon Swim is like very delightful, and fun one to, to wear. This is beautiful. Not Tag Expression is very beautiful, but it is not, However, on its own, I think Paris Corner should have labeled it like their own creation and like bottled it, sold it or marketed it as such. It would have made a lot of sense to me. The next fragrance I have here is going to be the OG Camera from Lattafa. As we may all be aware, Camera was never an inspired, angel shade like how it was reported and marketed when it was freshly released. I think a lot of us are aware now that it is not. We have something like Kismet Angel, for example, or Cocktail Intense, which is like more close to angel shade than the OG Camera. Apparently, Camera is inspired by the a fragrance by Imperial Valley Gisa, one of those, so I haven't tried that, but Camera, it's not going to give you angel shade. On its own, it's a very beautiful fragrance, but it is not inspired. If it was trying to take inspiration from Angel Shame, the bottle will give you that, but the fragrance by itself doesn't really give that. The next fragrance I have here is going to be Ram's Gold by Lattafa. even till this day on Fragrantica, it is there as, inspired by Alexander II by Zaya, but it is not. Ram's Gold is a fruit chili scent, a very heavy, fruity, patchouli, pineapple, apple, vibe. It doesn't give me anything Alexander II by Zaya. I will add Udain from Latafa to this, since it is also likened to Alexander II by Zaya. So Ram's Gold and Udain till this day, even on Fragrantica, are likened to Alexander II by Zaya. But to my nose, both are not. I have videos on both fragrances that have made a comparison. If there is anything that is like close to Alexander II by Zaya, in my opinion, that I have smelled in the Middle Eastern, market, that is going to be from Arabian Portrait Oud. A very beautiful interpretation with a twist of its own, being more effervescent and more floral. So Ram's Gold is not, and Udain by Latafa is not, but they are both very beautiful fragrances on their own that could have been, marketed as something else, but not Alexander II by Zaya. The next one I have here is going to be Mou Cognac, also following suit. Mou Cognac by Paris Corner is also being labeled somehow as Angel Share, camera, but I don't get that at all. It is more of a green Davana scent with the coffee. It's very different to my nose. It doesn't remotely remind me of camera or anything remotely Angel Share. So I think Cognac Blaze, being marketed and paraded as such is like misleading. I think it is a different scent profile, and this one I have also not really smelled from any other place or any other fragrance I have come across. So Mou Cognac, I think it's not Angel Share or camera. The next one I have here is going to be the Mina, the current release from Paris Corner, the Mina, and then the Mina Coco Lash, but the emphasis is going to be on Mina in this video. It is reported to be inspired by Sol de Janeiro, Teresa 62, but I think it sort of failed to capture the whole essence of Teresa 62 to my nose. I sort of like it, but I don't love Mina. I think it was sort of, cheaply made. It could have been improved. The final decision to release this was, it should have been given a little more, tweaks here and then. Because I think Mina had the potential. I have a decant, and that decant has very much macerated. So I'm not talking about it from like a fresh bottle, standpoint. I'm talking about it from a macerated, decant. Mina, you can see the resemblance to Teresa 62, but it failed to get the richness, and it's a lot more floral. There's something more floral about Mina that is not in the OG Teresa 62. So between those two, I would rather buy the OG Teresa 62, because price point, I think even the body mist is a lot cheaper than the one that Paris Corner is offering in the form of Mina. The next one I think we were not also able to capture well, it's going to be Bayan from Latafa, also for Ombre NAD, Louis Vuitton. I think Bayan, of the three that I have spoken about, the two Soleil de Ombre Jacques Hughes and the other one I've forgotten. Bayan is sort of the closest interpretation to Ombre NAD from a Middle Eastern house that I know of, but it's like a watered summer, light, mass appealing version of Ombre NAD that can be a little polarizing to a lot of people with the woods and the oud, but Bayan is like a lighter take on that, and that sort of reminds me of that of Ombre NAD, but I don't think it is like a good interpretation or a good dupe of Ombre NAD. And that's what I have is going to be December Rose by Paris Corner, and that was reported or marketed as an inspiration for Fenty's Fenty. However, that really failed to capture the whole essence of Fenty. It is a very watery rose water and geranium scent. Basically, it didn't capture the blueberry and the tangerine and the richness of the original Fenty by Fenty. It doesn't remotely remind me of anything Fenty in the first place. I don't see the resemblance even at the deepest dry down. Nothing about December rose, reminds me of Fenty's, Fenty. So I think that is also like a feel when it comes to being able to capture the essence of Fenty. The next one I have is going to be Zemaya's Hour Pink. I think Hour Pink is being marketed as an inspiration for Delina La Rose. To me, I think it is not, somehow maybe the deepest dry down will remind you of that, but it didn't get that aquatic, watery light essence of the whole La Rose vibes of Delina. It is more floral, and it goes off a bit, to my nose. It feels quite cheap smelling and squishy to my nose, It wasn't able to capture the essence of Delina La Rose, in my opinion. So I wouldn't say it is Delina La Rose, but it's like a distant cousin to it, but not done in a way that I appreciate. So Zemaya Hour Pink, I wouldn't say I would recommend as an inspiration for the Delina La Rose. The next one I have here is going to be the Anna and Glory by Latafa. I know Anna and Glory has been likened to Tribeca, from bond number 9. It is not. I don't know, to my nose, it is not. Tribeca, I get more of that, cocoa, baccarat, sort of vibes, but more gourmand, to my nose. Whereas in Anna and Glory, it's all about the turmeric and then the creme brulee and then the pineapple. Even to this day on Fragrantica, it is still there. Anna and Glory by Latafa is there as being as close to Tribeca from bond number 9. I don't see that resemblance. Maybe the creaminess, but it's been always said to be inspired by that, but to my nose, I don't think so. I really think I think Anna and Glory, I would love to believe that people say it's an original creation by Latafa, and I would love to believe that, because I haven't really come across a lot of things that smell like that, and Tribeca doesn't really give me that vibes at all. They are not the same to my nose. The one I have here is going to be Mou Garden from Milestone. That was being paraded as an inspiration or a dupe for Amouage, guidance, as soon as it came out, I think about a year ago, it was being paraded as a very beautiful guidance. Even with the bottle was giving guidance, the color, the shape and everything was giving guidance. But the fragrance by itself is a floral, it's a light floral scent. It is beautiful, very beautiful floral scent, floral musky one, but it is nothing guidance, to my nose. It doesn't remotely remind me of guidance in any way. Guidance is like a heavy, rich, rose hair and other beautiful rich scents. But Milestones, Mou Garden or Mou Garden was a feel, a total feel. I think on its own, it would have been a beautiful scent, to present as its own, as something like a floral, bouquet, sort of vibe. But as an inspiration for guidance, I think they failed at that. And the last fragrance I would like to talk about is Terak from Latafa. When Terak was released, even till this day, it is on Fragrantica as La Belle, and its flankers. But I always told myself, it doesn't give me La Belle vibes, from day one, to my nose. At the time I received my Terak, it gave me Jessica Simpson fancy vibes, with the apricot, and the vanilla and other things. It gave me that, but over time it's macerated and it gives me a totally different scent profile. I sort of feel Terak was an original creation. To this day, I still don't associate it with La Belle or the La Belle Le Parfum or any of its flankers. I think Terak is like quite different, Initially, it will give you resemblance of some very familiar fragrances, but after about 8 months or so of having Terak, I totally don't see anything between that and La Belle or even Fancy at this point. It gives me like a suede, like, leather, more unisex appeal than those two fragrances, which are like ultra feminine, fragrances. I think Terak is like an original creation to my nose, I'm yet to come across anything that smells remotely like Terak, but I think it is an original creation. And Latafa, I don't know, usually the houses do not really say they are marketing it as A, B, or C. It is usually, critics and fragrance enthusiasts who normally come up and say, oh, this is an inspiration of A, B, or C. And then a lot of us just, go with that. So I think these are fragrances that I know of that I don't think, although they were marketed as, inspired by or dupes of these amazing niche and designer fragrances, they really are not. Some of these can be repackaged and sold as original creations, whilst some of them really were just like bad, dupes, in my opinion. And that is going to be it for today. Let me know what you think about this list in the comment section, and I hope this video found you well. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye bye.